Well, hi guys, and welcome back to Linda's Pantry. Today we are canning Asian pears, and that's from our trees, and I'm so excited to be able to put this on the shelf. I am ready to go. I cut up all my pears and peeled them. It was about 2.5 hours to peel all those pears. They're a little small, but they're delicious, and I really want to preserve them. So we're just going to do a plain, simple syrup, a medium syrup, and the pears themselves. I don't want to disguise it with anything. Maybe next year I might do some pears and nectarines. There's a few recipes in the newest Ball canning book, and this is the book I'll be going by. Canning pears, but when you can Asian pears, you have to acidify the pears. They don't have the same amount of acidity as a Bartlett pear. There are a couple Bartlett pears in here. Our Bartletts are really small, and they have a big core you've got to get out. The Asian pears just don't have all that, so it was much easier to do the Asian pears. But I will be acidifying with bottled lemon juice. 1 tablespoon per pint jar, and we're doing pint jars, so I'm super excited. Let me bring you in close, and we're gonna get to canning some pears for the pantry, and we're gonna be able to enjoy this over, I love just a bowl of pears, but we can enjoy this chopped up over maybe some ice cream. We can enjoy it over waffles, you name it. Pears are wonderful, and over cottage cheese. Anyway, I'm more of a savory girl when it comes to cottage cheese, but I've been known to throw some fruit in there once in a while. All right, let's come on in and we'll get some Asian pears on the shelf. Let's do it. So the first thing I did after I peeled the pears was to get them into an acidulated water. And I used Fruit Fresh. It was 3 tablespoons of Fruit Fresh for a 1/2 gallon of water. So 2 quarts of water, and that 3 tablespoons was perfect. Then fill it up with pears. So you're going to drain off your pears, put them into, and I've got one there that's got a little brown on it, but I don't care. It was up at the top, and it keeps them just fresh and beautiful, as you can see. So we're going to go ahead and get that simple syrup came up to a boil, and now we're going to drain these off and get them in there. We're going to bring them up to simmer at this point. Now, let me read this. Prepare the syrup, reduce the heat, and drain the pears. Cook the pears in the syrup over a medium heat until hot all the way through. Once they're hot all the way through, we can start jarring them up. And that's what we're going to do. So let's get this all in there. And I am very excited to have this on the shelf. And these pears are cold, so it's going to cool off that simple syrup a little bit pretty quickly. And then you'll see every once in a while, you're going to see a Bartlett in here. That's okay. It won't hurt the Bartletts to get acidified at all. So I love this slotted spoon. I'll try to leave an Amazon link for these. I got a whole set of these acacia wood spoons and spatulas, and they're some of the best utensils I have in my kitchen. I absolutely love them, and I love that it's sustainable. It's we're not putting plastics out there. I don't know. I'm just in my old age, I am getting to where I love things a little more natural than not natural. So okay, we're going to get this back. It says to layer it, but I find that's going to be a little redundant when it comes time to can. I'd like to just take it out of the simple syrup, can it, put it in the jars, and be done. And this should be a canner load right here. If I've done my math correctly, each one of these 4-quart containers should do a canner load, 8 jars, but we're going to find out. Okay, let's get this back on the stove, and I'll bring you over there. Okay, so the pears are in here. Some of them are a little bigger than others. This one could have been cut again. I might go ahead and cut that while I've got it. Just like that. There we go. And see, there we go. Oh, look at that. And these, you can see there's a Bartlett. There's just a little bit different color and texture to it, but we're gonna bring this up to a simmer, and I might even jar things up over here, but I think we should be okay to do it where it's at. All right, so let's see if I move you back. Yeah, I should be able to jar everything up right here and get it into the canner. The canner, I've got my steam canner over here, and again, I'll try to leave a link to that. This is the stainless steel version of the steam canner. I've got it set with the steam vent going out this way. All my jars are simmering in there, so I am ready to go. I've got everything out. I've got some water up here in the microwave that will be for my lids. I'll get some water hot and we'll start doing that. And oh yeah, that's hot. It shouldn't take too long to get these heated all the way through. And some of these I can tell, like that one, it's kind of falling apart, but I'm not gonna care. Trust me, I'm just gonna be thankful I have these pears. So pears, it's better if you can do them when they're a little on the green side. These are pretty ripe, not overly ripe, but they're right there. So some of them are a little more ripe than others, but we're gonna can it up anyway. So there's that. And then they will process in the water bath canner for 20 minutes for pints. And let me double check that to make sure, but I'm pretty darn sure. A ½ inch of headspace and process, 20 minutes, yes, and 25 for quarts. So that is exactly what I thought. And we're gonna be canning some pears. Ugh. Okay. I'll be back when we're jarring it up. Okay guys, we're ready. I am ready. And I'm using 4 jars lids, but I'm also using 4 jars. They sent me 2 cases of the pint jars and a couple cases of the ½ gallon jars and a case of the, or maybe it was one of each. No, and a case of the ½ pint jelly jars. So 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and I'm gonna put that in right from the beginning because I don't wanna forget. So each jar is gonna get that. I'm not gonna worry about vinegar on the lids. You're gonna get your jars filled with your pears, and oh, I'm so excited. My mouth's kind of watering over this whole deal. You need a ½ inch of headspace. So we're gonna get those down in there a little bit. I might be able to fit a little bit more, but I don't wanna overfill the jar because, well, it won't do you any good to have it too full, right? Now we need to get some of the syrup. So we're gonna get our little ladle and fill that to a ½ inch of headspace with the simple syrup that's in the pan already. And it'll be ready for the next batch too. I'm excited about that. All right, now we'll get another jar. And usually I have to go back and forth. This is kind of nice. We're gonna be able to just stay put. And I need a little bit more to make that a ½ inch of headspace. There we go. Wipe the rim of that jar, and these jars are hot, the product's hot, everything's hot, but look how pretty. And the reason you're heating those up like that is to get some of the air out of the fruit, because there is a certain amount of air in all fruit. That's why you get floaters and all that. And we still might get a little bit of floating, but it settles down in the pantry. I put the ring on, I hold the flat, and as soon as I get this kind of resistance going, it's finger tight and it's hot. It's finger tight and we're good to go. Did I debubble? Did I? I don't believe I did. If you're not sure, get in there. Get in there and debubble. I don't think I have any issues, but oh, you know what? My headspace changed just a teensy bit, maybe a teaspoon. So it's very important to debubble, and that is why. Okay, and I'm going to, just for safety factor, we're going to go ahead and wipe that rim, put this back on, get your flat in place, put your ring on, hold your flat. As soon as you get that kind of resistance, that's the resistance I want for fingertip tight. And we're going to get the next jar, hot jars, asbestos fingers, and let's get this loaded with pears. And we're going to rinse and repeat until we get this project done. And we will have nice, beautiful pears on our shelf for later on. And like I said, don't overpack. You don't want to pack your jars too tight with food and product because, well, you're not going to do yourself any favors. And this is the perfect amount of fruit for us. And go ahead and debubble while you're getting that syrup in there. And I think, okay, so the purpose behind the simple syrup is it adds some sweetness. Medium syrup is actually 5 cups of water to 3 1/4 cups of sugar. And the whole reason we do that is because we want to retain the color of the product. It helps preserve it, and it actually adds a little bit, it brings out the true fruity flavor. You can do a heavy syrup or a super light syrup. That's up to you. So that is up to you. And okay, hold please. Let me make sure I've debubbled properly. I think so, yes. Okay, get my flat in place, and here we go. Done. And in the canner she goes. Hot jars, hot, 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 hot. Thankfully, they're not so hot. I mean, they're hot, but I can touch them without getting burnt. Okay, here's a couple of Bartlett's going in. And I actually want to can. There's some really good recipes in this new canning book that I want to try. I wish I would have seen that before I made my decision on this, but yeah, I'm good. Okay, let's get our syrup in. And I have 2 batches of the simple syrup because I wasn't sure how much I'd need. I didn't want to have to go back and make more if I needed more. So there's that. And I will have to clean my stovetop because now I've got simple syrup, which is, I'm okay with that. Okay, a little bit more to do that 1/2 inch of headspace. And there you go. Now I've got, get my flat, and we're gonna, ooh, you know what we didn't do? Lemon juice. Oh my gosh, you almost made me forget, and that last jar doesn't have it. So, woo-hoo. Good thing I saw that. Let's put it in that jar right now. Okay. Let's see if we're still good on the headspace. Yes. Okay. Boy, I almost blew it. That would not be good. I would have remembered when they were halfway through the canning process, and then, you know, then we would have had a whole different issue. Okay, so I'm going to take this one back out, take the lid off, and this is how easy it is. We are going to acidify with the lemon juice. And we'll have to probably pull a pear out or something. Here, we'll just pull this guy out and put him right over here. Nope. Done. Okay, a little bit more of the syrup. And no harm, no foul, as long as you remember. And if you're not sure, it's always better to go back and do it. Like if you're not sure if you debubbled or you're not sure if you did something, then definitely. And if you kind of have an order in which you're doing your jars too, it makes it easier. I knew that that was the jar on this side. So everybody makes mistakes. And when you're filming, it's super easy because you're talking. All right, I'm going to finish these and make sure that I don't make that same mistake. And I'll get these going in the canner. Oh, and we'll get our lemon juice everywhere because that's how I do it. Okay, I'm on my last jar. And I've remembered on all of them to acidify, to wipe the rim. I will say the next batch, I got into the second 4-quart tub of pears, and I put them in here and got them warmed all the way through. I like that method. That's what they call for, and that's how I'll do it on the next go round. I'll just do a couple jars at a time, a layer at a time. That way they don't get too overdone because they're going to be in the canner for 20 minutes. So, okay, hold on. This needs a little bit more, maybe even a little bit more. I'm going to debubble this last jar. Yeah, I can tell the pears are much firmer with this way of doing it. You know, it's a learning curve. I was trying to save time, but I don't know that it saved any time, and it certainly could end up with a better product. So I got to set that on there, hold my flat in place until she spins, and in the steam canner she goes. Now, if it was a water bath canner, you definitely want the water to cover the jars by an inch or two. In a steam canner, that's not the case. It uses less water, and I just really like it. I can lug this canner up and down the stairs, no problem. My big water bath canner, it's kind of a pain. I had to use it, what was it? A couple of days ago I used it. And now I can't remember what I was doing. But this is going to go for 20 minutes once it comes up to the temperature. And I've got it marked on the top here for my altitude. So it'll be just fine. All right, 20 minutes as soon as it comes up to temp. Okay, so my canner has been sitting for 5 minutes. I had actually had the lid kind of cattywampus for 5, and now it's been sitting here. I mean, the jars are still extremely hot. You want, the purpose of this is to get the, see, you can see bubbles coming up through here. It's still boiling. You want the heat to get to the center of the jar. And I'm just going to set these over here, and we'll get ready for round 2. I'm guessing I'm going to have probably 4 more jars. And we do have, look, we have a little bit of floating, but that's normal. Fruit floats. It's hard to get all the air out in that first little bit of what you're doing. So some jars are going to be better than others. And I don't overpack because I'd rather have plenty of liquid. The liquid facilitates the heat to get around the product, whether it be a vegetable or fruit, and get the heat to the center of the jar, which is important for safety and food preservation. So that's how I do it. And so we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I have 9 jars. What was I saying? Okay, 9. But I think now I'm going to put these jars here. Scoot this over a little bit and get this going again. This will heat up the jars. I'll get my pot of simple syrup back on, and I'll do 1 extra jar now that I'm thinking. I'll probably put 1 extra jar in there. And where's my hold? There it is. This won't take long to get that hot. I'll get this water heated back up, some more lids, and we'll go for round 2. And Here we go. Let's do it. Okay, so we are done. I got 13 pints of Asian pears for the shelf. I'm super excited. A lot of these have already, all the ones that came out of the first canner load sealed. So there was 9 in there, and then I did the rest of them. And I'm so happy to have this, and we saved the harvest from our trees, and the first time I've gotten to do that. And so I'm really excited for that. I hope this inspires you to go over to 4 Jars Canning, because these are 4 jars, and 4 jars lids, and the jar and the rings and the lids. Yeah, their rings are superior. They don't break down. I don't put vinegar in any of my water when I'm canning, so I don't have that issue anymore. But I've actually run these through the dishwasher when they were really sticky, and cross my fingers, they did not degrade at all. So they have a really nice coating of metal on them. It's thicker than the cheaper ones you get, and none of it's cheap. Trust me, I understand that. But if you can preserve the harvest, I highly recommend trying it for yourself. And the new ball book has some really good recipes. It's got over 500 new recipes. So I'll try to leave a link for that too. All right, guys. I can't wait to see you next time, and I hope to bring you back when I open a jar and we use it in a recipe or just over cottage cheese. That seems to be my husband's favorite way to have it, so that could be it. Cold pears over cottage cheese. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye. Guys, I hope that you'll try your hand at canning your own pears. And if you like this sort of stuff, I sure hope you subscribe and you hit the like button. And don't forget to leave me a comment.